try to play a bit. I can check just.
Am I too loud? Maybe a little bit.
I'll just play a bit with you.
Yeah, let's go from that. 1, 2.
Sorry, I've got tempo.
Yeah. 1,
2, 3, 4.
Ni kommer att spela i domkyrkan på onsdag. Kan du berätta vad som händer där?
Jo, vi kommer att, eller det är en sån här lång, egentligen jättelång utveckling. Började den 1999 då jag skrev Pia Cantiones arrangemang. Och det där, de framfördes då året därefter, 2000. Och sen, gjorde vi en del år keikko med det här projektet sen. Och sen en skiva till och med. Och sen efter det var det kanske sådär 10 år paus emellanåt. Och så skrev jag nya psalmar. Och den här konserten nu på onsdagen är en blandning av de här båda två projekten och sen lite nytt material också. Och det ska bli jättespännande. Det är ju en liten kör, alltså hela en voice ensemble egentligen på 4 personer. Och så är det cello, trumpet, gitarr och vibration. Det är en dialog också på sätt och vis mellan den här kören och sen instrumentala partier.
Ja. All right, Henry, what do you know about your part on Wednesday?
Well, all I can say is, of course, I'd played this music before 2 years ago in the cathedral, and I thought the music was extremely beautiful and very moving. Somehow, I felt quite emotional about it. I've always loved medieval music, and I myself, in classical context, played like canzonas of Gabrielli and music of that period, Monteverdi and so on. And so to have the opportunity to perform with it, with the 4 singers, it was a joy, absolute joy. And of course, cathedrals always flatter trumpets. They always sound so good in cathedrals. They make you sound,
actually.
yes, all instruments, okay, but I always feel that they make you trumpets sound better than they really are.
How often do you play in churches?
I have played in churches quite a lot. It's obviously not a regular thing, but I have played in churches quite a lot throughout my life, both in a jazz context and also in a classical music context, especially when I used to play with a classical brass group from London called the London Brass Virtuosi. And incidentally, with that, we did a tour of Sweden many years ago where we played 21 gigs in 24 days throughout the length and breadth of Sweden. That was with that, and in that tour we played in some churches, for example. Also in the early 70s I used to play with a piano player in Leicester, a composer called Michael Garrick, and he had some kind of connection with the church, and he used to write some music for choirs. So we used to get to perform that music in churches, and on one occasion we actually did a tour of cathedrals in England, which is quite an unusual sort of thing to do.
How is it when it comes to churches in England? Do you think it's more common here that you play sort of different music than the sort of traditional church music in the churches?
I think it's become more. It's become more eclectic in music in churches now. There's everything from rock bands to, class as well as traditional music, jazz. We played a lot of jazz. I played after all, even 30 odd years ago, Duke Ellington came to England. He played in Coventry Cathedral and in Westminster Abbey. Duke Ellington. So it's not unusual. We played some of the Duke Ellington music with Stan Tracy, a well-known British composer, a pianist who died a few years ago. We used to play the Ellington sacred music, and we played that in a number of cathedrals, including the wonderful Durham Cathedral, Ely Cathedral, St Paul's Cathedral in London. Yeah, we played quite a lot in cathedrals and churches.
What about coming back to Finland? When was the last time you were here?
Well, the last gig I did in Turku Cathedral, that was 2 years now. 2 years ago, yeah.
And what have you been up to since then?
Well, I'm getting on in years. However, I'm still active. I play mostly music I want to play now, which is something that's not been true throughout the whole of my life, because you have to do all kinds of things in order to make a living. I've been very happy to do that too, because it's gained me enormous experience, and no matter what music you play, you always try to play your very best. But nowadays, I can just concentrate on things I enjoy. I'm trying to write more than I've ever written in my life, and I play in a big band in London, the London Jazz Orchestra, and I have an opportunity there because I write for it. And I play small bands. I have my own band, Still Waters. I play with the great Scottish guitarist Jim Mullen. We do a quartet called the Great Wee Band, and a few other little things, jazz gigs, solo gigs, and as I said earlier, I played Evocation to Kenny Wheeler recently with Dave Holland and Norma Winston. One gig in Poland. I went to Sardinia last year. Earlier I went to Singapore, playing the Singapore Jazz Festival. So I keep going.
Yeah. What kind of places do you typically play in England?
Pubs. Not only pubs. There's a couple of clubs. The Vortex is a well-known kind of jazz club in the northeast side of London. Play there, and we have a local gig I play in a lot, like a vegan cafe. It has all sorts of things. That's called the Caramel, spelt with a K. Yeah. That's very local to me. In fact, I can walk there. Yeah. And of course, we always play a lot in pubs, art centres. That's a few that are still left, because they've disappeared as well, like many other things. That sort of thing, really, and occasional concerts, of course, in large venues, concert halls, and
Yeah. Do you play with your own sort of old musical friends, or do you play with younger guys like well, Niklas is not that young anymore, but still.
What? Yeah.
Well, of course, I still play with the younger guys like Niklas.
Thank you.
Well, the younger guys, of course, they are kind of, I wouldn't say they're exactly different, but there is a difference between them and musicians of my generation, in the sense that we had to learn everything ourselves. And of course, a lot of the younger jazz musicians in England come out of the well-equipped colleges. Nearly all the principal music colleges in England and in Scotland and Wales, for that matter, all have jazz departments now. So a lot of these people have come out and they're incredibly well trained, and they have their own scene now. But nevertheless, jazz has never had a problem with generations. There's no real generation gap in jazz. So I do play with quite a lot of younger musicians, and mix and match. They're all freelance things, of course. They're one-off events rather than regular bands and things. Yeah.
Hur är det med dig, Niklas? Vad har du på gång så här annars?
Efter det här så ska jag spela i Stockholm med Severi och en svensk basist, Filip Augustsson. Vi gör en konsert där, och sen åker jag till Slovenien genast i början av mars till en vecka och gör fem keikkor där och lite undervisning också. Och så brukar jag åka till Japan. Jag är nästan en månad där nu i maj. Plus en del keikkor här i Finland och Åbo till och med. Inte så hemskt många här i Åbo liksom. Det finns ju inte så hemskt många ställen att spela på här i Åbo. Förutom Monk och Tirikkala kanske. Det är nu det närmaste man kommer jazzklubbar här. Så det är en massa olika, och sen på sommaren lite festivaler, och så ska jag försöka få ut en skiva åtminstone i år som jag har tagit. Jag har haft en del års paus nu. Ja. Jag gav ut så många skivor då i början på 2000-talet, 6 stycken, så jag tog en liten paus här nu och funderade på vad jag vill exakt göra, hurdan skiva. Nu har jag kommit på det, och nu ska jag göra det i år.
Okay.
Så det är en stor grej.
Vad är det som du har kommit på?
Det är alltså, jag har egentligen tänkt göra 2 skivor. En på ett så här liksom traditionellt sätt att spela live i studio. Sen en som jag har tänkt helt enkelt spela in en track åt gången, så att säga, producerad skiva. Och den är då, det blir ju helt annat stuk då förstås. Så det är de här två projekten. Det är ett projekt som jag kallar för jazz på finlandssvenska, det är då liksom vokaljazz på samma gång. Sen den här liveplattan blir antagligen med Urfa Kenjus, jätteduktig svensk jazzgitarrist. Det är enkelt att spela in en sån platta, duoplatta, vi gör det på en dag. Så det är liksom bara vi har filis.
All right, so about this concert on Wednesday, why should people come there?
Well, because the music is beautiful and excellent, and music of the highest quality, so they should come. And also because we all enjoy it, and they can, our enjoyment will rub off on them.
Samma alltså. Vi ska nog njuta av den här kyrkan. Det tog mig länge till exempel att hitta egentligen domkyrkan, så där att det är liksom bara musiken är rätt så funkar det ju. Det är otroligt fint liksom ställe, fint akustiskt sett fint ställe. Det är otroligt lång efterklang, men om man gör sån musik som det funkar liksom så då är det ju otroligt fint.
If I may, can I return to something we were saying earlier? Because I've just, when you asked about do I play with younger musicians, and I've just thought of a couple of things. I mean, I play in something like the London Jazz Orchestra, and the interesting thing, it exists really for musicians that are actually quite young, or musicians that are older, if you can put it that way, than I am, rather than people in the middle, for the one simple reason, because the ones in the middle are the ones that are actually working, and they do the theatres and God knows what, and so they're not prepared to give up their time for something for which there is very little money, you know. Whereas, so the London Jazz Orchestra is for young musicians just starting, coming out of the colleges or still in the colleges, or people who've been there, done that, come out the other side like me. So there's a distinct sort of, on the whole, a distinct gap between younger musicians and older musicians. In the middle, there's a gap. So that's worth pointing out. But I mean, my band Still Waters, when my regular drummer Paul Clarvis, who's an incredibly in-demand person as a general percussionist as well as a jazz drummer, and he's played on a lot of the big films, you know, The Hobbit and all the Tolkien films and so on. He does all sorts of things. Harrison Birtwistle, well-known modern British composer, wrote a concerto for him even, you know, but he's my regular drummer. When he's not available, I use a 24-year-old drummer called Will Glazer, who's phenomenal. So I just had to make that. Don't know whether you edit that bit in.
It's the same here in Turku, you know, small scale, but also we have a lot of young guys now playing and performing in these places, Monke and Tirikkala, every night almost, for almost free. But they kind of do it just to get better, and it's in a way it has good sides and bad sides, of course, because they play for free. but it's not good for us who are working actually. But I think it's a good thing actually in the end. There's a lot of jazz music, live jazz music, and that's always good.
That's right.
So, well, what are you going to play for us today? Now, you said it won't be music from the concert on Wednesday.
No, it's not. We're not able to do that without having all the people that will be there on Wednesday with us now. So we're going to resort to what I think of as the lingua franca of the music, which is going back to standards. The standards are the things that we play. You know, I couldn't say to Nicholas, "Do you know this tune? This is one of my tunes," and I don't know any of Nicholas's tunes. So we go back to what we all commonly learn, which is the standards, and that's still the primary training ground for all jazz musicians, I would say. So we're going to play a standard. We're going to play Body and Soul.
All right.
And I'm going to, with my cold sore at the moment, I'm going to struggle through it.
Well, I guess it will be fine. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, great. How did your lip feel?
Oh, terrible. It's just, I get what I call refusals, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when you get show jumping horses,
Yeah.
you know, and they come up to a fence and they refuse to jump.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's like.
Okay.